We are one day into the portal, and now I want to talk wide receivers. Got Pete Nakos here. He is our portal expert at On3, and we're going to jump right into it. Pete, it seems like Georgia Tech's Eric Singleton Jr. has emerged as the most coveted wide receiver in the market right now.
Yeah.
One, is that true? And two, what are his options right now?
Definitely the most coveted. Exchanged some texts with him last night. Two early schools to watch are Auburn and Ole Miss. He's going to take visits there. It was reported Georgia was going to be in the mix, a possible visit. He shot that down. He's not going to go to Georgia. I don't know if that's like a Georgia Tech thing or whatnot, but he is going to go to Auburn and Ole Miss on visits.
Interesting. All right, so let's move on to North Carolina State wide receiver Casey Concepcion. He is also highly coveted. Heard a lot about him when he jumped in the portal.
Yeah.
Who has come out on him early?
So this is a player with a lot of upside who's already proven a lot of NC State how talented he is. And now it's clear that he wants to bring his talents to the SEC and prove at a very high level that he's a top-notch wide receiver. Bama Online and Steve Wiltfong have really done a lot of reporting around this. I had been told Alabama and A&M were schools to watch, but now it's been reported by those guys that he's at Texas A&M, I believe, starting Wednesday, and will close out the week at Alabama. So we'll have to see how that comes together. But obviously, two schools need wide receivers. We're really high on KC.
All right, let's talk about a couple SEC wideouts, and we'll wrap it up with a former 5-star. Now, Kentucky, they're losing a pair in Berrien Brown and Dane Key. I don't think their recruitments are tied, but we're going to talk about them together. What are you hearing first on Berrien Brown?
Yeah, Berrien Brown, extremely talented, really fast. Probably one of the fastest. Yeah, I mean, and what he can do in special teams is incredible. Early school to watch here is LSU. Okay. It's been the Tigers since he announced he's going to enter. We'll have to see how it comes together. Ole Miss was another school in it, but now they're going after Eric Singleton. And then, Florida State needs a wide receiver. And I think they'd actually like to bring in more than one, to be honest with you. So they're doing everything they can to get Berrien Brown, but I really like where LSU is right now.
All right, now how about Dane Key?
Dane Key, another intriguing option. He actually had a better season at Kentucky this year than Berrien Brown. Yeah. So the two schools to watch here are Georgia, who obviously needs wide receivers, another SEC school, and then his old wide receivers coach is now at Nebraska. So by no means is Nebraska like a lock or anything like that. But Nebraska is just one school to keep an eye on, especially when we go through this process where the Huskers are trying to make sure Dylan Real remains happy and put some weapons around him.
All right. LSU wide receiver C.J. Daniels is on the move again. Who are you hearing here?
C.J. Daniels is interesting. I think he went to LSU with this idea that he was going to become a standout SEC wide receiver, and all of that is still in front of him, but the season just did not go the way I think he envisioned. So I think the big thing for him is going to an offense that likes to pass the ball, but where he's obviously going to be one of the top wide receivers on the roster, and he's going to have an opportunity to prove himself. So I think there's a lot of options out there. Talked to someone last night. He's trying to get his visits lined up, and I think we'll know a lot more when that comes together.
All right. Former 5-star Micah Hudson. We were covering him this time last year. He was all set. Well, he had just signed with Texas A&M.
Yeah.
Now his recruitment is back on. His recruitment in high school is really weird because considering he was the number 2 ranked wide receiver in America, he committed to Texas Tech in the summer and never heard a peep from him after that. Will it be as quiet in the portal?
It's been extremely quiet.
Really?
It's been hard to get into on Micah Hudson.
Of course it is.
Yeah. Two schools I have an eye on, LSU and Texas A&M. I was told that LSU was like an early leader, but that was like a week ago. Things change. I think this is going to be one where, you're going to have to keep making phone calls like I am and trying to figure out where he's going to end up. And like that Texas Tech recruitment, like he's not going to go to Texas.
Okay.
And
that's what I was going to ask.
Yeah. So like, I think that this one's going to be, one we just have to keep following and trying to put some puzzle pieces together on.
All right, before I let you go, speaking of Texas, what is the word on wide receiver Jonte Cook? I know he's not in the portal yet, but what are you hearing?
Yeah, Jonte Cook is another intriguing one. I think Jonte Cook looks at Texas A&M. I reported yesterday that Oregon was a school to watch. I think Oregon's going to back off on that one. We'll have to continue to monitor all that, but I don't expect Oregon to be the biggest player in that recruitment. So yeah, Michael Hudson and Jonte Cook are very similar, where they're gonna, make their own decisions, keep it really on the DL, and probably stick in the SEC if I were to bet.
All right, well, that's a quick look at the wide receiver position. We're going to do more of these breakdowns. What other positions do you guys want to hear about? Let us know. And also, where are these wide receivers going to land? Comment section below.